What is it?
Oh, now we have a drum roll too. Well, hi, welcome back to High Heels Happy Hour.
Welcome.
And I'm still Kristina.
And I'm still Ingrid.
And we have to apologize. We've had a small hiatus because of sickness.
Ingrid. The whole
Hernandez family was so, and so we had to take a little hiatus. But that's okay. We're back. That's the first time we've done that, I think. Maybe we've done it once before.
Maybe.
A week where we didn't post. But here we are. We hope you missed
to keep them on their toes.
us. Yes.
Yeah.
So we know how Ingrid's week, and we should probably not go into details because it's not.
No, it's
pleasant.
Horrible. No, I just want to say
stomach flu.
Horrible.
It's not fun.
No.
No.
I don't remember the last time I had that.
Yeah.
Like, who invented that?
Well, something that you ate or something, a little germ in your. Yeah, they just felt like you should really empty out the content. Oh, well.
Okay.
Okay. So now she is starting fresh.
Yes. Now I'm good to go. How about you? How was your week?
So my week was, I was not sick, although I thought I was getting something for a while there.
Maybe
And
that's
I'm like,
where I got it from.
No. I didn't get anything. So you didn't get it from me.
No, it didn't. It said, no, I'm not going to bother Kristina. I'm going to go to Ingrid.
So I just took some of those Scandi Lab. We had Alexandra on our podcast. So shout out to Scandi Labs. I did took a lot of that multivitamin this week. So I would not get what Ingrid had. And I've been fine. So what is your hack?
So my hack this week is habit stacking.
Which we talked about.
Yeah, so we talk about habits all the time, but then you do one you already do and start a new one. So one of the examples that I got was if you want to drink more water, which you should, is either get a smaller cup, like a 30 ounce, and finish it and get up. So you get up to get your steps, and then you get more water.
That's good.
So you can play around with all of them. One of them that was on there was if you want to brush your teeth 3 times a day to get more water. Every single time you brush your teeth, you get some water. But when you're out and about,
I don't think it's good for the teeth to be brushed too much because then you're.
So that's one of the examples. I like the water with the steps.
Yeah.
So
okay, so I'm gonna habit stack. I'm going to switch my hack from the one I thought I was going to do to this one.
Okay.
So habit stacking 2 is I've had a hard time remembering, that little machine we were talking about for the face. You had the
gua sha?
No, the little
the fix.
The fix.
Electric current.
So that one, and now I have now an infrared little wand too. So the trick, I've had one forever.
Okay.
Just always forgot to use it. And by the time I was standing there washing my teeth, I'm like, I don't want to stand here for another 2 minutes. So what Dr. Saluja was talking about, putting, your creams and stuff next to your nightstand. Well, I put my wand on my nightstand. So now my new thing is when I get in bed, I do, first it was the fix, and now it's the infrared wand.
Oh.
So that's another form of habit stacking. But now it's right there, and I sit down, so then I can, because I'm not going to fall asleep in 30 seconds. I can do 2 minutes.
I do sometimes.
No, I know you do, but I don't. So it's been great. I've been doing it ever since.
So it's great after serums. So
that's what I do. I wash my face, put on I put serums and moisturizer, and it's been working great.
Before the moisturizer.
The red light therapy?
Yes.
But then I need to put the moisturizer on the nightstand too then.
Well,
then
you triple stack.
Okay, but it's
like
a
the
form
movie
of
Dumb and Dumber. Double stack, triple stack.
It's a good form of habit stacking that you're doing this and then you do that. So now that's my routine.
I bursted her bubble, but it works really great. Sealing especially infrared is healing.
Yeah.
So you heal all the serums in, and then the moisturizer usually seals your skin for nothing to go in.
I'll do them in between now, and then I'll do my moisturizer. Okay.
Just so it can work
That's okay.
better.
But it's really, so that's not my new habit. And
Love it.
I'm sticking to it.
Love it.
All right. So what are we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about sabotaging.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you do that?
Never.
Oh,
have never happened. Don't know what the word means.
I think that's my middle name.
You mean self-sabotage?
Self-sabotaging. And I thought it'd be fun to do 3 parts because we can do a lot of stuff for business and we kind of know what we don't do or we hesitate to do so the business doesn't grow.
You mean we are our own worst enemies?
Yes.
Yes.
So I figured I'd do the top 5 for entrepreneurs or work, home, and relationships.
Oh, okay.
So because a lot of times they kind of all go together. But there is a few that kind of stand out. So I'm going to start with being an entrepreneur. And these are the top 5.
Okay. Things we do to...
And I know you know, but you can chime in at any time, Kristina. Okay.
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Overthinking. They call it analysis paralysis. Do you ever overthink?
Yes.
Let
me think about that.
Yes. But there's so many things, so many times we overthink, and it's really simple.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even know what's going to happen, if it's going to be good or bad. But you overthink and you have no idea what's going to happen. Just do it.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Does it say if it's primarily female? Because I think we have a tendency of overthinking more than men. Or is that just what I think?
You're probably correct.
It would be
females
nice to see statistics on that. I feel like men are more like, yeah, let's just do it. Can I just say, speaking about men, I don't know if it goes into the recording, but can you hear my husband? Yeah. So we're in upstairs in my house. We have pretty high ceilings, and we even have carpet in here and sound isolation. So my husband is pretty loud. We can hear him from downstairs, closed doors, carpet. Yes, just saying.
I don't think they can.
He's not overthinking his tone of voice right now.
Oh my god, you can feel it on the floor. Okay, so overthinking. So I will look for the statistics on that, but I'm pretty sure you're probably right.
Like we're doing it more as females.
We usually think of a lot of stuff. We think of everything possible that can go wrong, and then sometimes we still do it anyways.
Yeah.
So, which is good and bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is fear of failure. And some of these we've talked about before, so it's not nothing new. But this was really the top 5 that we all do. But it hinders growth. And what happens when you don't grow, Kristina?
You die. Yes.
And taking risk. It's huge when you don't take a risk because you don't know.
Yeah.
What happens? You get scared of what will not happen. And sometimes you'll never find out because you never try.
Yeah. So sometimes standing still and not moving and not growing is at least a safe zone, whereas you walking into the unknown might fail. So that's, I think, why a lot of us go, at least in here, I might not be happy, but at least I know what to expect.
Comfort.
Yeah. That comfort
zone. Well, we know about the comfort zone.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Lack of delegation.
Oh,
no, okay.
What?
So I am guilty as charged. I have been better. It is not easy.
I'm really bad.
Yeah. I concur.
Yeah. I'm really bad at delegating.
But also too, it goes with is you know what you want, and you know what the outcome, you know what you want it to look like.
Yeah.
So releasing that is very difficult. However, that is an attribute of self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
So we have to maybe try
Mm.
to alleviate, even if it's little by little,
Yeah.
and being okay with.
And I think you're also, in order to do it, you have to give up the it's got to be done this way. You have to accept that the outcome is not going to be exactly
Not
the way.
necessarily, because I think at times you will be surprised that it might over deliver.
Mm.
Because what
Mm.
you think it should, I mean, because you have to give people the opportunity.
Yeah.
Sometimes we
No, that's
underestimate someone's
yeah.
talent or someone's drive.
But can I say too, one thing, because delegation requires work up front. Because in order to delegate, you need to inform and you need to create a system that you can explain, right?
Correct.
So sometimes we're like, oh my God, it's going to be so hard. It's going to take so much time to explain this. I'm just going to do it myself.
Right, but how much more work is that?
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just trying to explain my thought process.
No, this is
I
great.
know I'm not alone there. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. But we always wonder, what if we can
Yeah.
make more of this or
Yeah.
have more of this?
No,
But
absolutely.
this is something that
Absolutely.
where a lot of us are
Well, we have
guilty.
started delegating a little bit to ChatGPT,
Yes,
which I think that's a start.
that's a big start
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah. Mm.
okay. Well,
Little by little.
it would avoid a little bit of a burnout.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
And I thought of a really cool thing to do is getting help from like an intern. Like I
Mhm.
know that you do a lot of design and stuff,
Mhm.
and you're very great at what you do, and you love certain things done this way.
Mhm.
But there are things that you do
Mhm.
that someone can possibly learn as they go,
Yeah.
and you would be okay with that.
Mhm.
And the same thing for me.
Mm.
But I
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah.
getting an intern of where whatever you do for work, is
Mhm.
getting someone that's really great in class, does their work, and is
Yeah.
wanting to or eager to learn.
No,
So,
that's true.
okay. Another thing we do,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you've heard of any of this in any of our podcasts, is ignoring personal well-being.
Mm.
I don't know if we talk about that.
Never.
No.
Never.
Self-care, exercise, and nutrition.
I think that's one thing we're good at, though. That
Yes.
one we're good at.
You're a little better than I am.
Thanks for noticing.
Society is not so great.
No, I know.
And
know.
even, we can go on and on all the new stuff that they're
Yeah.
doing with all the nutritional
Mhm.
things that are happening. It's just, you don't even know what you're eating half the time
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Which
Frankenfoods.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is really
Yeah.
crazy. And this one, I think you would agree to as well. Resistant to change.
I don't think I am.
Did you just hear that?
Yeah, I don't think I think I
But
might
that's
have been worse at one point, but I think I've gotten better there. But I think overall
But-
people are, yes, resistant to change.
But you're a little more structured. When I think of change and I think of a switch, I think of an unstructured. Like you're able to kind of pivot. I always think of pivot like Friends, Ross, and says pivot.
Well, I do think people that are not organized have an easier time pivoting because
Totally.
there's nothing. Because it's like, oh yeah, sure. Since I wasn't really having a structure there anyway, I can just do this now. And maybe,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, oh no, then I have to redo all of that, how I do this. So yeah, I would agree with you there. But I think maybe it's just, sometimes it takes a little longer.
thank the military for making
Mhm.
me a little bit more pivotable.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Because
I can see that.
you would go and get prepared for A, and they're like, "Oh no, we're going D," and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, no,
what?
I can see that.
And you have no choice.
Yeah.
And then this goes along with embracing innovative ideas. Sometimes
Mhm.
something new.
Mhm.
People are so used to the whole Flintstone stuff to do.
Mhm.
Like, no, I've always done it this way.
Yeah.
And it's
I've
like,
always done it this way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's change
Yeah.
a little. Okay. So what do you
Okay.
think? Those
Yeah.
are my entrepreneurs. So
Yeah.
overthinking, fear
Mhm.
of failure, lack of delegation, ignoring personal well-being,
Mm-hmm.
and resistant to change.
Mm-hmm.
Good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this one, I think you'll enjoy this one.
Okay.
This is on parenting or
Okay.
parents.
Oh, well, okay.
And,
Let's see how
and
many boxes we fill or not, check or not check here.
I think all of them were a little puzzling, and I was like, oh, well, I can do this, I can do that. So the first one is overprotectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, I don't know if it's a European thing,
Mm-hmm.
but you all are not so protective.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little bit more of a freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That string.
Yep.
You have a bouncy cord.
Yep.
I have like a really short cord.
Yeah. No, I think it's a way of how we grew up, because it was like I mean, it was a different time too, but I look at my friends in Sweden, and their kids, they took the bus by themselves. They do all these things way before I let my kids go out by themselves. But it's
you think
just the way
maybe
you live and the way
I was gonna
things
ask
are.
you. Yeah, for me, it's I always question what I do and don't do, because I grew up, you all know that are listening. I grew up in foster care, so the overprotectiveness, I always have a little bit of like a rubber band in the middle, because I'm trying to just allow them to be who they want to be, and still be okay that they're safe. So that for me is really difficult.
I do think too, that's one thing. I mean, we all can only do, we kind of, we do what how we were trained, or we do the absolute opposite of how we grew up. I think you do either one. Either you do it the way you were taught, or the way your parents did, or the complete opposite. But I think uh, kids too, they gotta sort of earn their independence. So if they've given you no reason to not give them independence, if they've, and you see it in grades, you see it in behavior, you see it in all those things. And I think the more my kids have proven that I can trust them, the more I've let go.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
They're growing. They're
But of course, if they ever would prove me otherwise, then that would have been a different story.
Yeah, we've had that at our house. It's kind of like, well, if you would just do what you need to do, then we wouldn't be in this predicament.
Yeah.
So okay, it goes kind of go hand in hand. And this is kind of like a little bit of a addition to overprotectiveness is micromanaging, which is one of those things. Again, it's hey, did you do your homework? Did you brush your teeth? Now I just have to say, do you brush your teeth? They're like, huh? I'm like, go brush your teeth. Like it's like, just I don't need to tell you if you would just do it.
Yeah.
So again, it goes by building. But do you find yourself ever just not telling them and just letting them just be?
Yeah,
Like, is
I
there a
think they've
point?
gotten to the ages now. Mine are, 19 and 15.
Okay.
They're
Mine's
the
still young.
19-year-old. I'm not gonna tell him much. I mean, I can suggest things, but it's like, well, if you don't, what's good for you or not. If you're choosing to do things that are not good, well, hey, I can say I told you so.
So do you feel like going to college was that link that said, okay, now your decisions are your responsibility, where before,
I mean, more so because you're not there 100%, and they actually are grown. I think the first thing where our son figure was like, it was something to do with a class, and it was in the beginning when he was brand new at college, and it's like, yeah, I need to fix this with the class and the teacher, blah blah. And my instinct was, do we need to talk to the professor? Like, just like you've always done with, if there's something, do we need parent involvement in this or no? he's like, excuse me, this is college, Mom. There's no parent involvement. I'm like, oh, that's right. So after that, I'm like, okay, that's
this is where you pray that all you've done.
Adulting now. It's adulting 101.
Oh,
yep.
Adulting. It's mommy 101.
Well, no, it's adulting for him, and
letting go.
less mommy for me.
Okay, so there is a way to kind of let that go, and then setting unrealistic expectations. And I am still learning because you want them to do the best.
Yeah.
But what you think is the best may not be their best.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So sometimes
absolutely.
It's like we talk about this a lot in sports. Some children are just not athletic.
Yeah.
They have no desire to throw or kick a ball.
Yeah.
They'd rather just play
absolutely.
piano. And then these parents put these kids in sports. And it's like, why? Why do you do that?
And I think too, in school overall, because we've always been, especially me, and I think my husband has, after encouragement from me, because that's how I grew up, was parents that expected really good grades. And but with my kids, it's been the same way. But they've never had a subject they struggled a lot with. Of course, some subjects they were better at than others, but it wasn't, because you could be really bad at math but love languages, or vice versa. So I've always said to them, I've had high expectations for grades. So it's been like, well, it's not a subject you're struggling with. So why? It just shows me a lack of studying. You didn't put the work in.
Yeah.
So I said, if you're going from a D to a C, that's great. Or a D to a B, that's a huge improvement. You don't have to go from a D to an A. But when you've never been below a B, there's no reason why you shouldn't just go for the A's, because you're not having a hard time with this. So you should shoot for the highest. And that has been discussions in between me and the kids. But it's like, well, if you've shown me this is an area where you're struggling, I completely understand. But you're not. You were just lazy.
Same thing in our house. So especially Sebastian.
Yeah.
He's like, Mom, I did, 1 through 3, 5, 4 through 8 is due Thursday, but I'll just wait. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, why? Just do it now. So, he's like, well, it doesn't have to be. I said, I understand it doesn't have to be, but things come up.
Yeah, it's like,
so it's like
minimum requirement possible. Yeah. No, I completely understand. Yeah.
Because you never know. I mean, even perfect example, we had a little bit of a hiatus because I was sick.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have planned better and had a little bit. You know what I mean? So there's always things you
can do.
If
you have time and why not do it now? Yes. Yeah. No, I completely understand.
He'll make the bed, but not fold it all the way because he's going to go to the bed to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's in all fairness, they're really small things. But if you realize all those small things and habits will turn into bigger things later.
Yep.
So I'm trying for the life of me. Trying
to
help them out, but oh my gosh.
I hear you. But no, we can also ruin our children with expectations that we're trying to live vicariously through them. Like, I wanted to be really good at ballet, so now you need to do ballet. I wanted to go to an Ivy League school, so now you need to go to an Ivy League school. Well, maybe that's not right for them. So I think we can definitely sabotage.
Guys, you taking notes? There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is lack of communication, which is very easy to do with children.
Especially teenagers. Huh?
What?
How you doing? Good. Anything new?
No.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, communication is key. I mean, with everything, studying, teachers. I mean, I've done where I call the teacher because one of them said something and they were like, oh, Mom, I didn't realize you were actually going to call the teacher. I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, that's too late now.
So what do we think how do we solve? Is it finding those situations and trying to create those situations where it comes naturally, like where finding where they speak to you? Because I think it's not
Yeah, so
most of the
you
time
and I
is
have talked about this,
yeah.
and you do like dinner.
Yeah, with sit down dinner, and I
Mhm.
think we talked about it on the podcast too, is really important for us. We've always done it. And that's kind of where you find out a lot of stuff.
Mm.
When they
It's
were
like the red
little,
table, but the perm force table.
yes. Uh, when they were little, especially with Bella, it was the car. You found it. But
Mm.
now they have AirPods and you never talk to them in the car anymore. But whatever it is, wherever the situation, or is it out for a walk, or is it wherever you notice that they have a tendency of talking more easily, where it's up to them, that is finding that place.
We do the dinner table as well, but I believe I'm very, I don't know if it's high strong or I'm very adamant about them just talking and just being honest and
Mhm.
kind of figuring out, okay, what's really going on. And I want them to be open, but sometimes I feel like I don't give them the opportunity, or maybe
Mhm.
I'm missing I have a missing link
Okay.
to where they can just be.
They don't naturally share it.
Yes, they're kind of like, oh no, I don't like I feel like they don't want to disappoint me.
Okay. Yeah.
And because they're like, Mom, you know everybody. Like we can't go anywhere. So I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
I just fortunately I know a lot of people, but
Mhm.
I'm just mom,
Mhm.
So that's what I run into.
Mhm.
So if anybody knows how to figure that out, let me know.
Hmm.
Okay. And this one goes also to ignoring individual needs, especially when you have multiple children,
Yeah. Yeah.
and kind of figuring out, one is really great at reading doesn't mean that the other one has to be,
Mhm.
sports.
Yeah.
If somebody really wants to say sports
I'm
and the
sure
other
that's
one
very
doesn't,
common with sports.
yes,
Like, just because the older one wants to do, now everyone has to do this.
can you imagine?
Yeah.
It's torture and it's
Yeah.
expensive.
No, I think it's
I don't know.
and it's also because sometimes you're trying to streamline, so you don't can't be in 3 places at once. So you sign them all up for the one thing, and then maybe it's just one of the kids that yeah.
I am guilty for that, and that was the worst decision I did.
Uh-huh.
It was so torturous.
Yeah.
We never made it
Yeah.
because there was always one that didn't want to go.
Oh.
I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Mm.
There's
Yeah.
no streamlining in torture.
Yeah. No.
Well,
I
besides
hear you.
torture. Okay. So again, for parents, overprotectiveness, micromanaging, micromanaging, setting unrealistic expectations, lack of communication,
Mhm.
and ignoring needs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Okay. And my bonus I thought you all would enjoy is relationship
Ooh.
sabotaging.
Okay.
And I believe it can go with really good friends
Mhm.
and your significant other.
Okay.
Okay. You ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Look at the number one. Poor communication.
Oh. Yeah.
That was top one across the board
Yeah.
is communication.
Mm.
And I cannot agree with that more.
I think that's again finding those natural situations where you both of you open up naturally
Yes.
is the key in all kind of relationships.
Mhm. And one thing I've noticed is sometimes telling them what they did hurt you or bothered you.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, I might do something to you that's just
Mm-hmm.
something I do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't tell me it bothers you, it doesn't have to be bad in order
Yeah.
for it to bother you.
Yeah.
It just needs to make
Yeah.
you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's a misunderstanding a lot
Mm-hmm.
at a lot of times, is that people don't understand that even though what they did is not bad, doesn't mean it didn't bother someone.
Yeah.
So communication is key. Number 2, lack of trust.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't think trust is such a huge,
Mm-hmm.
huge thing.
Yeah.
It's
No, absolutely.
it's what was I gonna say? You have to build. Usually, you give trust, but when something happens,
Mm-hmm.
it's you have to earn it.
I think the
that.
same thing there is with kids. It's if your spouse, if they will
Mm-hmm.
show you if you can trust them or not.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, coming from we were, my husband and I, before we got married, we dated for 7 years. We did long distance, 2 different continents for 5. I lived in Sweden. He lived in Atlanta.
Oh, that's
6-hour time
right.
difference. And this is before. Did we text? Not really.
I don't even think, was there any texting?
Well, there was like you had to push each button 3 times to get the letter
Oh,
ABC.
the BlackBerry
CTE.
phones?
No, there was has some other Sony Ericsson, Swedish phone. Anyway, but I think, and people were always like, "Oh wow, how can you this long distance? How can you do that? I mean, so many years." Well, we never doubted each other. It was like there was no
No
reason
question.
to
Mm-hmm.
be suspicious or not trust each other. So I think that showed itself early, and I think we would never have made it otherwise, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you gotta, and of course, it all depends on where you're coming from. If you've been in a relationship where someone cheated on you and
Mm-hmm.
your trust was broken, of course you're going to be more suspicious. But yeah,
And even then, with a new person, with every new chapter, you kind of have to figure out how to not get past it, but
mhm,
understand that that's a new person.
yeah,
That those are things that you should not carry over.
hmm,
And along with this, I wanted to mention is respect.
yeah,
Respect is not earned. And this is something that I don't know if we've never really talked about this, but
hmm,
respect is you always respect someone,
yeah,
whether or not they respect you or not. That's just your form of a human being
hmm,
is respect. Now they can lose it, but at the beginning, nobody should ever have to earn respect. Everyone should
yeah.
be,
You should start from
yes.
respecting, and then they
Mhm.
can disearn it,
Yes.
or they can lose it with
And
their
then you
actions.
treat them accordingly and never necessarily bad.
Hmm,
But
yeah,
I think yeah, that one was always questionable for me.
hmm,
I'm like, no, I think you should just always respect someone.
yeah.
Taking each other for granted.
Hmm. Yeah.
A
Especially
lot.
after many years of marriage, that's
Yes.
easy to do.
Mhm. I'm glad you said that
Yeah.
because I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've both been married over 20 years now.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's easy to,
You just
oh,
expect
I
them
don't
to
have,
do
oh,
something.
of course he's going to be there. Of course he's
Right.
going to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that goes same thing with friends.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
it's it's very, very there's a fine line to that.
Yeah.
So if you have a friendship or if you're in a relationship and you're thinking of maybe I take him for granted, you probably
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Ingrid, am I taking you for granted?
Oh my gosh. Let's I'm gonna take the fifth.
Okay.
Unresolved conflicts.
Oh yeah.
Going to bed angry.
Mm-hmm.
Or another one too to add to this is either unresolved conflicts or not talk about something, kind of ignore it, saying, "Oh yeah, that wasn't so bad.
Brush
I'm
it
not."
under the rug.
Yes,
Yeah. Yep.
I
Yeah.
think you sometimes do that.
I do.
Yes, not
Hmm.
not not. I think it's more of a, and I don't mean to call you out. It's
Hmm.
more of
Well, this
but
is the hour of truth.
I think it's a culture. You don't get as you when something happens, you kind of talk about it, amongst you,
Mhm.
and you're like, okay, just whatever. You forget about it.
But I don't think that's culture. I think that's just because I have family members that are the complete opposite.
Oh well, maybe
I
that's.
think it's just the
I just
way
know you as.
I don't and quite honestly, I don't have huge hangups on things. I get over things
Mhm.
really fast. I might get heated and then really mad, and then I go, okay.
No,
Yeah.
and
But that's not cultural. I think
okay, so that's Christina.
that's just a
So we
personality.
will rewind. So that is Christina.
Yeah.
But I think that's. I mean, I think that's
I
a
don't think I'm
gift.
brushing it under the rug, though. I think I'm just,
Well, I guess when I say that, it's more like the with the person. Like the person probably never knows that you were actually upset.
yeah. Well, But maybe I just didn't think it. I came down from my heated state, and then I realized it wasn't that important.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes too time. It's like you got to evaluate. Like, is it that? Because I don't hold grudges.
Mm.
So if I was holding grudges, like, I mean, I could say my mom because she's not going to listen to this. She can hold a grudge forever. And she's not telling the person. She's just going to hold a grudge, and that's
Mm.
And so I know I've seen it close, and that to me is like, wow, you feel. I mean, that's the person suffering is you, because the other one is, blissfully unaware.
So that's why I say it's a gift for you, because I am a little bit of your mom,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. So I hold the grudge.
Yeah, no, the person that's suffering is you.
No, but the person knows I'm also holding a grudge.
Okay.
So I do both. However, I will tell you, you are right.
Mm-hmm.
The person that suffers is me,
Mm-hmm.
because usually, and has suffered is me. So that was one thing I really had to learn.
Yeah.
Because I thought that when you forgave someone, you were letting them off the hook.
No, I think forgiveness is more for you than for
Right, but you're
them.
not on chapter 5 in that book I read. So, but see the
no, I think that's just how we're pre-wired. Some people have a harder time with that than others.
And how it was how we were wired and brought up.
Yeah, of course. I think it's both nature and nurture. Yeah.
So, because I see, we've been friends, what, 13?
Yeah.
13 years?
Mm-hmm.
And that's always something that I'm like, how does she do that? I'm like, I'd be so pissed.
No, I think I'm like, I don't know. It just has never.
No, I think that's great. I wasn't intended to say anything, but I think it's great.
Yeah.
I wish sometimes I had that.
Yeah.
I'm like, now I'm better. Now sometimes I'm too.
Well, I think it's for your internal, it's for your own mental well-being too. I don't think holding too many I mean, of course it depends on what it is, but I think you're having too much of that built up inside is not good for you physically or mentally. I think so yeah. No, but of course it's easier said than done, because I do think it really is a pre-wired
yeah, I didn't get that
situation.
Wire. Mine was like zapped or something.
It was zapped. Yeah.
It was hindered or something. I don't know what it was, but I didn't have that. Okay. I've been working on that for a little bit.
Yeah.
So next is neglecting independent needs.
So this, same as for the kids. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For husbands.
Yeah, I think that definitely for your significant other.
Mm-hmm. One of the things, and he may listen to this, is so delegating is not my thing.
Forte?
No, at all. I'm trying. The house is organized, but it could be more organized. And I try to keep up with everything, but trying is the key word. I need to get someone to help me in the house.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time getting somebody to come into the house.
Okay.
So one of the independent needs that's Victor's biggest pet peeve. Is that the house is not organized.
Okay.
And that's something that bothers him like a ton.
Okay.
And I'm like, why? Like I would disregard it until I was doing research and I'm like, oh, like that alone could just set his mood, because he's like, I just want to come home and the house to be clean. Like, why is it so hard? And I'm thinking, why is it so hard? You don't understand. I'm so busy. And he's thinking, well, just get somebody. And I'm like, yeah, that's not so easy. So really simple is, it can be when we make coffee, leaving the coffee.
Leaving the pod in the,
It's very simple, but it's just little things that just mean that much to someone else.
Yeah.
So I just think
I would say though, I think sometimes, yes, I think a lot of divorces happen because of that. Because there's like enough, I can't stand this anymore, and you're never going to listen to me. And I think that's a lot of brewing.
Compromising.
But I think a strong relationship is when the other person really does something because they know they might hate it themselves, but they do it for the other. I can give you a very good example.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, so I have a thing with the what do you call it? Pillow covers. Like they need to be ironed. I cannot have just wrinkly pillow covers. Oh, no, pillowcases. No, so because I grew up with my mom ironed all the pillowcases and all the kitchen towels in a certain way. So that's something I've always done. I mean, like I can't just have it look like I can't sleep on a pillowcase that has not. So, and my husband thinks that was ridiculous. Well, now who's ironing all the pillowcases? He does.
That's awesome. Yeah. But that's a perfect example.
So that's love to me.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's because he knows that's important to me.
He can easily say, no, you do it. But
he'd be like, oh, you iron your own. No, he knows.
And you would be like, okay, I will do it.
When he has time, he will. And he kind of likes ironing, which is great. It's a great trait. More men should like ironing. But it's for him. He can watch TV and he can iron. It's like mindless work. So yeah, so that to me is that's love.
I think so.
So do something for your significant other that you think is ridiculous, but you know it's important for them.
Yeah, so, it's compromising.
Yeah.
So okay, so those are mine.
Oh, okay.
Top 5 for relationship.
Yeah.
For parenting and for entrepreneurs.
It's eye-opening, and it's a good reminder of things we need to work on.
Yeah, I mean, I think
sometimes we need to pat ourselves in the back and say that thing we actually do right.
Yeah,
that's also important.
We're not perfect.
We're
progress.
Again, we're growing. Progress.
Yes,
constantly growing.
So
okay,
recap of kind of everything that we talked about, and a couple of things that we can do is develop strategies. So whatever it is you're doing, relationship, parenting, entrepreneur, just develop something that works. And sometimes you have to change it. Like, I mean, life is just like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Meet with loved ones. Mindfulness. Be very aware how you treat people. Sometimes the person that needs to be checked out is you.
Yeah.
So it's not just because you do something a certain way doesn't mean it has to go that way. Yeah. I know it's very difficult, but awareness is key. And realistic goals with everything. You know, sometimes you do, I mean, we talked about SMART goals and stuff like that, but sometimes it's those big, humongous, like, oh my gosh, I want to climb Mount Everest when you can't even walk down the streets. Probably not realistic.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And for other goals for other people, especially your children.
Yes.
That's
you want to set them up for success.
See what their own goals.
Yes. And seek support. So when you're going in for even mom groups, couples therapy, entrepreneur networking, accountability with someone that you want and would trade places with. That is really important when it comes to taking advice.
Yeah.
So
don't take advice from a mom whose kids are complete animals. I love that. We've all been through that. All of us that have kids or dogs. Same thing with dogs. Oh my gosh. It's like
I have them both.
You have me too. You have the people giving you advice, like, oh, you should do this. And you're like, well, if that makes me or have my kids end up like yours, I'm not gonna do that.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh well. That was great.
Yay.
Yeah. Great. Well, great food for thought.
I mean, even writing it, talking about it, it had me thinking, and I was like, huh.
Yeah. Maybe I should go delegate something. Hey, I have delegated my ironing of pillowcases, apparently.
No, you didn't. He
just took it over.
Yes. That doesn't count.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll see. Stay tuned. We'll see what Kristina delegates.
I will report.
All right. Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
Okay.
Cheers. Until next time. Bye-bye.